Hello all, good morning. This is Joanna again here. Today's topic is discourse analysis, and I'm going to talk about transitivity. Transitivity is part of grammar that represents and reflects the reality of the world. Okay, now let's dive to our point, and I'm going to explain it further. So that's the topic for today, transitivity, by Halliday's Systemic Functional Linguistics. Who is Halliday? No, Halliday, not Holiday, Halliday, yeah. Who is Halliday? Halliday is an expert who came up with this idea, who proposed this idea in 1970, I believe. And his main theory is called systemic functional linguistics. And part of that theory is part of a grammar that represents and conceptualizes the world. And that is called transitivity. Okay? Yeah, so this is the transitivity in Hallidayan grammar. So we have what we call process types. And in the process types in Hallidayan grammar, there are 5 types: existential, relational, material, mental, and verbal. Now, existential means the existence. So it reflects the existence of something. The participants is called existent. And for example, we have a sentence like, there are 6 moons of Uranus. Now, this is the existent. Yeah, the 6 moons of Uranus is called the existent. Yeah, the one or the thing that exists. And then the second one is relational. The meanings here is the states, condition, and relationship. And the participants are called token and value, usually abbreviated into T and V, carrier or attribute, identified, identifier, possessor, and possession. So for example, you have a Peter, this is a token or carrier, remained a teacher. Yeah, teacher here is the value. Yeah. Most of the time, we have the word be here. Is, was, were, am, are. Yeah. And then you have the identified identifier. Boris identified is the prime minister. This is the identifier or the value. And you can label this T or ID or NV or IR. Stands for identifier. And then you have possessor and possession. For example, Paula, this is the token, or the possessor has a cat. This is the, again, another token, but now this is a possession. Yeah. So that's in relational. In material, you have the meanings is actions or events. So material covers all of those events or actions that are done. Yeah. For the participants, you have the actor, affected, and the recipient. Yeah, actor is actually the one who does the action, and then the affected is the thing or the one that is affected by the action, and the recipient is also an object or a thing that benefits from the action. So for example, snow here as the actor blocked the road. The road here as the affected. It is affected by the blocking. Yeah. Jane, this is the actor, gave me. Me here is the recipient because me here benefits from the giving. And then you have a waffle. This is the affected. Yeah. So again, the material consists of things that have something to do with actions, with events. Yeah. And then you have mental. Mental here, the meanings are perception, emotion, and thought. So they describe this process describes all the activities of perceiving, of emotion, and thought. Yeah. And the participants are called experiencer, the one who experienced the thing, and the experience itself. So for example, you have the cat, saw the bird. The cat here is the experiencer. Yeah, experiencer. Saw the bird. So the bird is the experience. This is the thing that the cat experiences. Or this is the thing that is experienced by the cat. Yeah. Matt, this is the experiencer, hated dogs. This is the experience. See, hated is a verb that reflects emotion, right? So that's why it is categorized into mental. Yeah? He decided to go home. He is the experiencer. Decided is something to do with thought. Yeah? To go home. To go home is the experienced, yeah, or the experience. Yeah. Okay. So you know this has something to do with verbs of perceiving, see, hear, yeah, listen, watch, yeah, feel, and then emotion, and then thought. That's mental. Yeah. And verbal, the meanings are speaking, writing, and communicating. So all of the verbs that reflect these activities, speaking, writing, and communicating, are classified into verbal process. For example, the participants first. The participants are sayer, the one who says that or who writes that. Receiver, the person who listens or reads the message. And the verbiage. Verbiage is the sentence or the actual utterance said by the sayer or written by the writer. Yeah. So for example, you have Paul, this is the sayer, told Mindy, Mindy is the receiver, that he would go home. Go home here is, would go home here is, or he would go home here is the verbiage. This is something that is said by Paul to Mindy. Yeah, so this is the verbiage. The thing that is said, the thing that is uttered or expressed verbally by someone, here by the sayer. Okay, Deirdre, is the sayer, whistle. Yeah, again, whistle is also an act of a verbal act. Okay, so you have 5 process types in Halliday grammar, and this will be the starting point for you to analyze longer discourse. Okay, now let's go back to my PowerPoint. Yes, this is actually taken from Critical Reading and Writing in the Digital Age, an introductory course book. Again, this is the course book that I've been using to this discourse analysis. And it refers to page 54 until 73. So I recommend that you read all these pages, a bit long, yeah, a bit longer reading, but that will give you more complete information about transitivity. Okay, because it's very important for you to read. Now, in transitivity process, now we are going to see why each of those processes is important. Yeah. So in relational, it is important because we want to know what kind of participants are involved in the relationship. Okay. And what kinds of qualities are assigned to them. So for example, say you have a text which goes, students are lazy. Okay, now students are being assigned the quality of being lazy. Yeah. Teachers are hardworking or hard worker people. Yeah. So now you know that in this sentence, when you analyze it using relational process, you know that those qualities, lazy and hardworking, are being assigned, are being given to students and the teachers. Okay. In mental, we are interested in these questions. Who experiences the thing? Who experiences the event or the feeling or whatever it is that they are experiencing? Yeah. What mental process is experienced? Suppose you read a text, you find that most of the verbs having to do with mental there are think, thought. Okay, so most of the time it is the thinking process that is emphasized in that text. Yeah. So yes, you can spell out, you can describe what kind of mental process is being described, is being used, yeah, or is being expressed. And then in the material, you want to know who is the actor. Actor, if somebody or something is put into the actor position, it is usually more powerful. It is perceived to be more powerful. Yeah. And who is the affected? That's the weaker side, the weaker person. So if I say the teacher punishes the students, the teacher controls the students, the teacher commands the students to do things. You know that the actor is the teachers. So the teachers here is perceived as people who are more powerful. And then the students are, because they are affected, yeah, in all of those three sentences, they are all affected by the act of the teachers. So they are portrayed, or they are depicted as the weaker side. Okay, so actor is actually, or is perceived to be more powerful than the affected. Yeah, that's, you can analyze that, you can find out that fact, or you can identify that finding if you use the material process in analyzing sentences in a discourse. Yeah, again, it is a very interesting tool. It is a very useful tool because it can peel the different messages, different positions, yeah, different roles expressed in a text. Yeah. You can see how each is labeled, what kind of mental processes are involved, who is portrayed or is described as more powerful than the other. You can know this all if you use this analysis to dissect or to investigate or to examine a piece of discourse. But that's a very interesting tool. Okay. Yeah, in verbal, we want to know who gets the floor, who gets the turn to speak, to write. Yeah. If you read a piece of news, most of the time you will see that the authorities or the police officers or the government is quoted as saying something. Yeah. Now, it tells you that higher-ranking officials are being perceived as more important source, because they get the turn, they are given the turn to speak, to write something, to comment on something. Yeah. Layperson, nah, they are not given equal chance to speak. Yeah. It's usually, it is the higher-ranking officials, the local authorities, the police officers, or ministers who get the turn to speak. Yeah. And that tells you something, right? What speech acts they perform? Yeah, we are going to discuss speech acts later. What effect does he or she have on the listeners? After this person said something, what is the effect on the listeners? You can also identify that if you analyze it using verbal. Okay, yeah. Now there are complications to transitivity. Disregard the page. Maybe the page refers to the wrong page, because this was I made this slide when referring to the older edition. Yeah. But anyhow, this complication to transitivity. Transitivity is what we call nominalization and passivization. They are powerful ideological and manipulative tools. See, nominalization is actually the process of changing a verb or a noun, a verb or adjective into noun. Yeah, the changing of a verb or an adjective into a noun. That's called nominalization. Okay. In nominalization, you can omit the actor and the affected in the material process. So you can say the killing of Uyghur people in China. See, the killing here, the killing there is a nominalization. It is it is derived from the word kill, verb. It's turned into noun. Thus, it becomes the killing. Yeah, the killing of Uyghur people in China. Now you see that when you read this, you disregard the fact that there are people who committed the killing, the people who did the killing. Who are they? It's not told in that sentence. When it is turned into nominalization, the actor is suppressed, the actor is hidden. And therefore, when people read this, they probably care very little about who actually did the killing. Yeah. The reality out there is that some Chinese military personnel killed Uyghur people in China. But if that goes into the news, then people would probably have a sentiment or have a would hate the actors, right? Would hate the soldiers, and yet the editors or the news reporters do not want this to happen, and that's why they turn the verb killed into the killing, and that's a very smart way of suppressing or hiding the actor. Okay. And then number two is that nominalization also makes it seems permanent because it is timeless. Yeah. The killing of Uyghur actually took place several months ago, and now situation has been getting better. But when you express it like this, then it seems like it goes forever, it applies forever. And so it can incite hatred among the readers who think that this is permanent. Yeah. So that's a clever way of again influencing the minds of the readers. Yeah. By nominalization, we can make it seem timeless, not bounded by time. Yeah. And then number three is that it forces us to assume that it exists. So for example, if somebody says to you, God will punish you, the word God here, again, it is a noun. By saying God as a noun, he or she forces the idea that this entity exists. See, this is called existential presupposition. Existential presupposition. By naming something, we force other people, or we force the listeners to believe that there exists such thing, or such thing exists. Okay? If I say aliens are coming to the earth, the minute you hear the word aliens, it's a noun, and it forces into your mind that the idea that there is such thing called aliens. Okay, so that's the power of nominalization. It forces the idea that something exists. Okay, and then now we come to the passive voice. Passive voice omits the agent or the actor and thus protects them. Yeah, if you know passive voice, right? The agent is sometimes not expressed or not written, and this is okay. This is acceptable. English grammar allows that to happen. You can omit the agent, but the minute you omit the agent, then you actually protect them. They won't get noticed. They won't get known by the readers because you have deleted them. Yeah. For example, the manager abused the workers. This is active voice, right? But if you say it like this, then people will hate the manager. Yeah, people will blame the manager. Now, if you want to protect the manager, then you turn it into passive voice. The workers were abused. Now the manager is gone. Yeah? The manager is free. The manager is not expressed in your sentence because the sentence is now a passive voice. The passive voice can delete the actor, and therefore it sort of protects them. Yeah. So instead of saying the manager abused the workers, you can write the workers were abused. Okay. Nominalization. An additional note about nominalization. Now this is the good effect of nominalization because it makes your academic essays sound better, more native-like, and more academic. So try to use nominalization in your essay because of this advantage. Yeah. So for example, instead of writing students misbehave when teachers are away, they cannot focus on their lessons and this is worrying. Instead of saying like this, you can turn this into noun. In other words, you practice the nominalization here. You write something like the students misbehave here. Now this is a noun, right? Rises when the teachers are away. Their inability, see, cannot focus now is replaced with nominalization, a noun. Their inability is a noun, right? do focus on the lessons is worrying. And so you can see that the effect of nominalization to an academic essay, again, it makes it more mature, more native-like, and more academic. Okay, that's all. I guess I've explained all the principles. Good luck, stay safe, stay healthy, and goodbye.